Hello everyone, this is the next chapter of level 1, evolution. What is evolution? Definition, history, types, evidence and examples. Evolution is the sequence of irreversible and gradual changes which took place in primitive organisms over millions of years to form new present day species. Variations or mutations that resulted in the formation of new species occurred due to error in DNA and due to sexual reproduction. Biological evolution is the change in inherited traits over successive generations in populations of organisms. For example, over many generations, ostriches and emus evolved to have larger bodies and feet made for running on land, which left them without the ability to fly. Evolution is based on natural selection. Natural selection asks for the survival of the fittest. Ever since the first life on earth, every living organism has to battle the changes around it. If the organism cannot adapt to its changing environment, it gets extinct. Let's understand this with an example of the green and blue beetles. Situation 1. Green beetles got the survival advantage because they were not visible in green bushes. This natural selection is exerted by crows, which result in adaptations in the beetles to fit better in their environment. This is group of red beetles divided into two groups. Color variation arises during reproduction. All beetles red except one, that is green. Second is one beetle green. All beetles that say start from crows feed on red beetle, then number of beetle reduces. In the second condition, when one beetle green reproduces and progeny beetles green. This is situation 1. Situation 2. Blue beetles did not get a survival advantage. Elephants suddenly caused major havoc in the beetle population. Otherwise, their number would have been considerably large. From this, we can conclude that accidents can change the frequency of some genes even if they do not get a survival advantage. This is called genetic drift and it leads to variation. This is the situation 2. Group of red beetles, reproduction. All beetles are red except one. Then one blue beetle reproduces. Number of beetles increases. On the left side, number of red beetles increases. Then crows can see both blue and red beetles and can eat them. Then number of reduces, but still red beetles are more and blue ones are few. Next, suddenly elephant comes and stamps on the bushes. Then but now beetles left are mostly blue. This is situation 2. Situation 3. No genetic change has occurred in the population of beetles. The population gets affected for a short duration only due to environmental changes. Group of red beetles, habitat of beetles suffer from plant disease. Average weight of beetles decreases due to poor nourishment. Number of beetles kept on reducing. Later plant diseases gets eliminated. Number and average weight of the beetles increases again. Acquired and inherited traits. Acquired traits are these are the traits that are developed in an individual due to special conditions. They cannot be transferred to the progeny. Inherited traits, these are the traits that are passed from one generation to the next. They get transferred to the progeny. Microevolution, it is the evolution that is on a small scale. Change in the body color of beetles, the process by which new species develop from the existing species is known as speciation. Speciation, it is the process of formation of new species. Species, a group of similar individuals within a population that can interbreed and produce fertile offspring. Way by which speciation takes place. Speciation takes place when variation is combined with geographical isolation. Then gene flow. It occurs between the populations that are partly but not completely separated. This is the figure you can see here. Genetic drift. It is the process of random change in the frequency of alleles, mean gene pairs, in a population over successive generations. Natural selection. According to Darwin, natural selection also plays an important role in bringing about the evolution of new species of plants and animals. According to him, variations existed between the individuals of a population, and some natural phenomena eliminated those individuals who were less adapted. The surviving population would pass the hereditary advantageous features to their offspring. With time, this process would give rise to organisms different from the original population, and new species are formed. Then Charles Darwin theory states that individuals with traits that allow them to adapt to their environments will help them survive and have more offspring which will inherit those traits. Individuals with less adaptive traits will less frequently survive to pass them on. Over time, the traits that allow species to survive and reproduce will become more frequent in the population, and the population will change or evolve. The theory is sometimes described as survival of the fittest. It was first started in the first edition of On the Origin of Species, published in 1859 by Charles Darwin. Evolution and classification. The organisms show specific features like appearance and behavior which are called characteristics. For example, plants can perform photosynthesis. The basic characteristics are shared by a large number of organisms. More characteristics which two species have in common more closely are related. If they are more closely related, then they have common ancestors. Explains the example of brother, sister and cousins. Evolutionary relationship can be traced with the help of the following. Homologous organs. Those organs have the same basic structural design and developmental origin but perform different functions and appearance. For example, forelimbs of frog, lizard, bird, bat and human beings. They have the same design of bones but they perform different functions. Human, horse, dolphin and bat, these are all homologous organs. Analogous organs, those organs have a different basic design and developmental origin but have a similar appearance and perform a similar function. For example, the wings of bat and bird. The wings of bats are folds of skin attachment attached between fingers, but the wings of birds are modified forelimbs. This is the structure of analogous similarity between butterfly and bat wings. Evidence of evolution, DNA and genetic material. DNA and the genetic code reflect the shared ancestry of life. DNA comparisons can show us how different species are related to each other. This showcases how the species have evolved over time. Fossils are the biggest evidence of evolution. The remains or traces of organisms from a past geological age embedded in rocks by natural processes are called fossils. Fossils help us in understanding the evolutionary history of life on Earth. They provide direct evidence of evolution and detailed information on the ancestry of organisms. Study of fossils. Fossils are preserved remains of living organisms that lived in the past. When living organisms die, Their bodies decomposes, but some parts of their body may be in such an environment that they do not decompose. For example, if a dead insect gets caught in hot mud, it will not decompose quickly, but the mud will harden and retain impressions of the insect's body parts. These impressions are also known as fossils. The age of the fossil can be estimated in two ways. The fossils that occur closer to the Earth's surface are more recent than those found in deeper layers. The second method is isotope dating, detecting the ratio of different isotopes of the same element in the fossil material. Significance of fossils. Fossils are formed layer by layer in the earth crust. The animals and plants which existed earlier are buried in the deeper layer, which one found in the upper layer. It is found that deeper fossils have a simpler structure than those found in the upper layer. The complete fossil record of animals like horse, camel, man has helped us to study the stages of evolution. Human evolution. Human evolution has been studied with the help of excavation, time dating and fossil study. All human beings belongs to single species, Homo sapiens. The human species has come from Africa. Some of our ancestors left Africa while others stayed on. These migrants slowly spread across the planet. West Asia, Central Asia, Eurasia, South Asia and East Asia. They traveled to Indonesia, the Philippines, Australia and America. They traveled forward and backward, sometimes separating and sometimes coming back to mix. They had come into being as an accident of evolution. This is the chart of human evolution. Tools to study human evolution relationship: excavating, time dating, fossils, determining DNA sequences. Points to remember: Archaeopteryx is an iconic fossil, often thought of as the missing link between dinosaurs and birds. It was first described in 1861 by the German paleontologist Hermann von Meyer in 1801 to 1869. Since then, Archaeopteryx has been the focus of controversy surrounding the origin of birds and their links with dinosaurs. These are the questions arises. What are acquired traits? What are the inherited traits? What is mutation? What are homologous organs? What are analogous organs? Now we will meet together again tomorrow. Thank you very much.